Hello everyone, I'm Leon, and I'm the creator of Unreal Fighter 2D template, and here is my commentary. Welcome. It's been half a year at least. I believe that I didn't make any videos, I didn't let anyone know what's going on. All I said was I'm still working on it and all that. But I think that many people already deserve a better answer, at least know what's going on, because some people are really excited about this and I'm really happy for that. Before I get into the details, I want everyone to know that I apologize for English not being my native language, so it will probably hurt your ears for hearing this commentary, but let me know what you think about it, and maybe I can continue doing so for the other videos that I will make, or I will simply won't. It's just that what you think matters for me a lot. So, before wasting any more time, let's get to it. Alright, so the biggest question that I need to answer is why did this all took half a year at least, without videos, without letting you know what's going on? Here's the story. The videos that you have seen while I was creating Evil Can or the normal Can is that it had a system that was actually terrible. It was not really beginner friendly. It had many bugs that I didn't show. Of course, you don't show things that videos that are bugs. You show how good it is. But in the end, it wasn't good and it was not really beginner friendly. So I decided to work on a new system almost from scratch that no one knew about it, and I didn't talk about it before I made sure that it works. Well, 2 months passed, now it works. So that's what we need to know about this part right now. Well, this followed up with state system of Mugen. And before you wonder about what state system is or what the Mugen is a simple fighting game engine that is related to states of current situation of the character actually. I will get to that later, but before that, I want you to know that that system is the one that I'm working on with mostly, and this is something that you can use my functions, my macros, the things I created for you to make your characters easily implemented in the Unreal 4 engine. And I think I can show it in this video, but we will get to that soon enough. Well, the remaining 2 months were actually belonging to UI and actually the bug clearing, the state system, and the entire backbone of the template working proper with everything else actually. So yeah, for half a year I tried to fix bugs, everything that either happens every hour of the game or they maybe happens once a month whenever I was testing. So I made sure everything was cleared before I made this video. Again, I'm sorry that I didn't let anyone know about all this. Like, I could make a video per week, maybe even at least per month. I know I have the fault here, but of course this part is also important too, like playing World of Warcraft, the main expansion. But let's not speak about it, shall we? Alright, so what was the problem about the old system? Now, I will not get into too much detail later, but I want you to know just shortly about the story, at least the history of the things that I have been creating so far. Thing is, with the old system, we had this core system you see that is actually empty. It's just the parent of all the other systems that I have been creating, which are named as Flipbook, Ability, Input, Collision, Sound Effects, and Visual Effects systems. Those were the ones that contained all the information that you needed to create a character, but there was one big problem related to them. The first one was they were all separate files, and in order to make, for example, a can, you would have to create a flipbook, ability, input, collision, and effect systems of can. Then you would have to create the ones for another character, and you would have to create the connections of them yourself. Now, that would be probably no problem for a developer or a programmer actually, but if you are someone who is a very beginner of very beginner in creating a character, or even beginner in like coding, that you think Unreal 4 is actually something scary, I didn't want you to suffer with all this. What I mean directly is this actually. Imagine that, let me get this a bit bigger. Now, in the old system example folder, I just wanted to show what I meant. Now imagine that you have a can or something that I created, for example. It got all the systems properly designed. Now, let's say that you wanted to copy this and created your own, want to create your own character. What you would do is this. Now simply select them all and transfer them to, let's say you wanted to make it to Ryu, make them copy here, and let's wait for it a bit. Alright, there you go. Now these are the ones in the Ryu folder, and you could simply just rename them as it is. Now, unfortunately, that simply doesn't fix the problem at all. For example, even if you name them all Ryu, they still don't know that if they should reference each other to each other. Like, ability system Ryu still thinks that he needs to speak with collision, flipbook input, and effect system of Ken, that the one that you just copied. So for every file here that you created, you would have to go over each of them and fix their references, because that's how it works. So as you understand, creating each of them, connecting each of them could cause bugs for beginners. They maybe couldn't even do it, or this would be just moral breaking. You would maybe not want to work on this again, or you would just simply give up on this. So that was bad. That was working, but it was actually bad. Okay, so let's speak a bit more about the new system that I have been working for half a year. Now, as you see, it's better designed, so I'm sure we will have an easy part of understanding it. So the mother system is actually empty, and it's just a connection between everything in the stage, with the characters, with the projectiles, and we will get to these soon or later, so don't worry about these yet. For now, I want you to know that mother system is, let me see if I can get through that. Yeah, mother system is just a parent of all files, just like the core system before. It's empty, yet it makes it easier to reach out to everything on stage. For example, to fade everything or speed up the game itself. Like, imagine that if everyone is a child of a file or an actor, if I call that parent, then all the childs will respond. That's a bit technical and coding way of information, so you don't need to understand it yet, but just know that everything is connected, and everything is easy for each other to access if they have one mother, or, well, let's say to be exact, one parent that they are connected to. Let's get back. Okay, so what is the character core? Character core is actually the file that contains everything. It's literally the source code of how I used Unreal 4 engine to create my own character. It's just like here. Let me show. Hold on. Alright. Oh, of course, this template is open source, so you can see everything and how I created things. So there's nothing hidden beneath. Let's go from template-based components to main components. And in main components, let's say core blueprints and character core. There we go. Now, when you click on character core, at the left side here, you will see that I got all the systems in one file now. So you don't really have to jump from one file to another just to reach out for properties of one system. And it's just simply easier to edit, see what they are doing, and it's just better, I believe. So that's all I could say. I will not get into detail on what is happening in input or flipbook, movement system. They are just simply working, but I will not get into details that, as the explanations are lacking, and they are mostly Unreal 4's blueprint system nodes, and most Unreal programmers will recognize them easily. But simply, let's say that this character core system is actually simply the core. That's it. Now, in my template, unlike Mugen, there are two types of characters. One is player character, the other ones are non-player characters. And I do not want to create a meaningless hype right now, but my whole purpose with this system is that you will not simply make a fighting game. It can be anything, like your character could move around the map, it could go from one place to another, it could go to shops to get things from neutral NPCs and all that, but let's not talk about things that do not exist yet. So About player character, this one actually contains all the core states that you can see and you can override. Let me get this as well, just to show up. Now let's close character core system, and here, player character core. Now, I will still not get into detail. It might be scary for people who just never coded before, but I want you to know one simple thing. The character core contains everything that you don't need to use yet, or you don't need to override yet. For example, the idle state, turning around state, jumping states, they're all in there for you to use later on if you so desire to edit that's those states. For example, the idle animation sequence is actually called state 0. This is of course familiar for Mugen developers, as the state 0 of Mugen is actually idle states of a character, like you do nothing, you stay on the ground. You can see that this is also the new state system that I have been working on, as I said. Just simply after calling this events, you just get into new state definition and you simply say that the state ID is 0, character stance is standing, move type is non-attack, simply because we are simply standing, and we need to face to enemy whenever this state is called. And it goes on, and it's quite easy to understand once you get to it. So I will not explain this further for now, but I just want you to know that everything about character core, make it non-player or make it player, is in here. As I said, movement, turn around, jump, gravity. It's actually finished, by the way. And crouching, guard state standing, light hit ground air, and like laying down and all that. Everything is in there, alright? So that's what we need to know about this. So let's get back to our amazing PowerPoint. So after player character, you can actually make a copy of this and then create your Ryu or Ken. I will actually make this even simpler for you, so I will actually prepare a special template like Ken that we have right now, as I have here.
Round 1.
Like these
Fight.
guys, alright? So one of them will actually be in my template as the like basic character that you can use. Of course it will probably be Ken, and well, that's it. When we get to Ken, let's see about it. In the character section, we have Ken. As you see, instead of 8 files, we got only one core system file that uses other things, such as visuals, sounds, like, let's say, when you enter it, you can just simply use these flipbooks and all that. When you press, also if you enter the core system Ken, you will see that I got everything as written instead of as 8 files. It's just simple one file that you can work on. And of course you can see that I have overridden the idle animation here, as you see, event state 0, so that's generally the purpose of it. And these are the intros and outros for starting the game and winning the game. That's it for now, and I will eventually give out an example about how to create a system and how to make a state that Ken makes. Sure, you can make Ken as another Ken. It's really easy. I will just not get into that part yet. All right? Okay. Everything is same for actually non-player character. We will get to these later. These guys are actually a Mugen term, the helper term that we will be using when we need something extra, something that a player character can't do or shouldn't do, but a helper can do. For example, a special effect, or actually can calling Ryu as an helper, as it's mentioned here, to make an ability, just like you'll probably see in Marvel vs. Capcom games. I'm not speaking about projectile cores yet. I didn't implement it at all yet, but it's as simple as it can get. It's like basic. It can be a basic projectile as Hadouken that simply goes a straight line, hits the player gets damage and all that. And it could be a complex projectile where you can make things like grenade that it's hop from ground to ground and all that. Well, that's it for now. Then let's get to the next stage. Okay, so as conclusion, let me just get to all these very quickly. The advantages of the new system is that it works and it's much simpler. And the deep core functions are hidden from a beginner developer. That's actually important compared to old system that I had, because for example in old system when we check can, you had to check for collision system and you had to prepare things for it, but at the moment it's not the case anymore. Let me show you quickly about it. Yeah, right here. For example, here we have collision system. This is the collision system as you see. I'm not going to zoom in because there isn't much to see or much to tell. It's just simply that the system pushes the other character, the one enemy, one player pushes the another depending on their speeds, their positions and all that. It's just a mathematical calculation that a beginner doesn't need to see, and you probably won't be ever as long as you are not creating your own game from the very scratch and you just want to see how I did it. And as a proof I can just simply show you here that in core system can there is no collision system. If you so desire you can create new collision can, not collision can, of course, collision system special, let's say. Then you edit print screen. That's it, I guess. Well, that's just an example, a silly one, but at least something you can understand. That's it, really. And let's see what we have. Yeah, of course, one file to work on instead of 8 is something that I taught before. It's easier to just, instead of hopping from one file to another, it's just simply one file containing everything that you need to do. Is just, of course, makes it easier to work with and, of course, easier to copy characters. I did not see any, no, I did not see any disadvantages of the system yet, but that's just simply it as I suppose, and I will try to fix as much as I can whenever I see something bad, depending on, of course, your opinion too. Alright, so before I finish this video and finally end your suffering related to this commentary, I would like to speak about at least two more things. So first of all is the UI that I have been working on, which is not finished yet, but I still want to show.
Round 1. Fight.
Alright. You notice that there's for Demon Can and there's for Can Masters. As you see, it's quite working, and depending on their starting area, the player bars, health bars, and the information just gets updated depending on who they are on it with. Now, here's the core part. Normally, you would say that, well, this is just one UI and it just contains all the information in one place. But it's wrong. It's not that way. It's just slightly more complex. Let me show you it quickly. For example, as you see, left player UI is actually different than right player. By the way, don't mind the names, it's just, they are just for testing, so of course they switch names and depending on the character and their position and all that, so you don't need to worry that this is of course belonging to only Demon Can. But here's the thing actually. Left player UI and right player UI are called by the characters of the players. So what does it actually mean to you? What I mean is that imagine that Demon Can is actually a boss in your game, and you actually want this to be beneath this screen. Alright, as like it's a boss, like in, I think it was like that in Marvel vs. Capcom games too, as I remember. So well, you could say that, well, there's left and right, so how could we make another right player UI especially for Demon Can? It's just simple. Just upgrade it and call it Demon Can Boss Y. Now you got a second right side UI that you can do whatever you want, and if you prefer you can call this by the mini boss that you just created as Demon Can. So you could have this come here. I will not, by the way, show this all by simply showing, because it's not that simple that simply drag out and just scale it up. It could cause a little bit of bugs here and there. I just didn't clean it up, so I'm not moving it, but you get the idea that you can have as much as health bar styles for your characters, no matter who they are. So if you're this could be actually exciting, I believe, for an UI creator, that you could create different UIs for different characters in one game. No, you are simply not limited to having a total
Round 1. Fight.
total one UI that you can only edit. So one part has to match another and all that. So it's just that simple. Alright, let me show you one more thing as well, just to show you how it is easy to edit what's happening on the screen.
Yes.
Let me just kill this can quickly.
Yes. Yes. KO.
Now, look that it says Demon can win,
Round
right?
2. Fight.
Now let's simply change it by going to Stage Arbitrator, the guy that is standing here, that's completely controlling whatever the character is doing. They are triggering their intros, outros and all that, and ending the game as it is needed whenever the one player, of course, loses complete its health. Alright, so when we go to Stage Arbitrator, you will see there are many boxes that says fetch starting locations, reposition players, give point to winner, force winner to win pose. As you see, everything is exposed to you for whatever you are liking. For example, I want to show you this. It says winner announcer, and it seems that this custom element is actually asking for a winner score, then which is actually a player. As you remember, we were speaking about player cores and all that. So this is the core that is asking, and then it asks for the character name. Then it says it converts it to string, which is actually a text, and it converts it to a string, and then we append it with a spacebar, and it says wins. This is what you saw as Demon can wins. Actually, I'm not getting into detail too much, but let's say that instead of wins, we want to write things you suck. Let's compile it. Now, let's see what.
Round 1. Fight.
Let's just kill this guy.
Yes. Yes. KO.
There you go.
Round 2.
Well, alright. So that's it, guys. I hope to see you on the next video. I assure you that I will be doing a lot of videos from now on, because the core system is finally ready after half a year of hard work, and I just hope that you will like it as much as I did. So, take care, alright? Goodbye.